Hello. I didn't see you there. I'm just kidding. This is an empty coffee cup. And as most of my students and colleagues know, I don't drink coffee. I'm also wearing sweatpants under this table because I'm treating this like a Skype interview for someone who's looking for a job. So good morning. It is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. You can probably hear the dulcet tones of my dog chewing on a bone directly underneath the camera, which I have propped up on a box inside my son's high chair, thanks to some exquisite construction project helped by my lovely wife. So I wanted to offer a contribution to the poem of the day, thanks to Mr. Richardson for starting it yesterday. And my first contribution, is a poem that's really stuck with me for a really long time. When I was in high school, I really got a kick out of English class in the way that probably many of my students do, until I had a teacher who really kind of stuck it to me and helped me actually begin appreciating English in a way that I'm more proud to say I've appreciated English in. But I always kind of struggled with poetry, and when I came across Billy Collins at first, I was like, this guy's kind of full of himself. And it wasn't until I had the pleasure of hearing him read in high school that I was like, oh, he's funny. This guy's funny. And so this is a poem that has stuck with me for a really, really long time, and I'm certainly not going to read it as well as Billy Collins could read it himself, but I wanted to jump in and offer this poem before someone much cooler than me, like Mr. Martin, chose this one to share for the poem of the day. So I figured I'd get my favorites out there sooner than later, so that I could lay claim to the ones that I like. So I'm probably going to skim the surface of poetry and read some things that many people might be more familiar with than, for example, a Mr. Richardson or someone like that. But I'm okay with that. And, we've got a couple of weeks, it sounds like, to dig a little deeper. So, challenge accepted, Mr. Richardson. So, this poem is not only, funny and touching and sweet, of course, but it's one that really stuck out to me, and every time I revisit it, it has another layer of meaning. I've only been a dad for 11 months now, and I'll never understand what it means to be a mom. And I'm sure, I'm surrounded by excellent examples of moms, and with my own mom, and with my wife, and with my mother-in-law, and with my colleagues and friends and coworkers, and there's probably a lot of new normal happening, if normal is ever a thing, when you're a parent, and so I'm really quite cognizant of all the things that moms are doing now, whether that means, being at home all the time with their kids, and all the little things that even, dads won't ever know about. So this poem, it's called The Lanyard by Billy Collins, and it really sticks out to me as just, it's a poem that I'll never be able to shake from my experience. So I'd like to read it today for everyone who hasn't heard it. I feel like most of my students might have heard this already, but if you haven't heard this one, I happen to really like it, and Indy's taking the bass line for a walk now as I'm about to start. So this is The Lanyard by Billy Collins. The other day, I was ricocheting slowly off the blue walls of this room, moving as if underwater from typewriter to piano, from bookshelf to an envelope lying on the floor, when I found myself in the L section of the dictionary where my eyes fell upon the word lanyard. No cookie nibbled by a French novelist could send one into the past more suddenly, a past where I sat at a workbench at a camp by a deep Adirondack lake, learning how to braid long, thin plastic strips into a lanyard, a gift for my mother. I had never seen anyone use a lanyard, or wear one, if that's what you did with them, but that did not keep me from crossing strand over strand again and again until I had made a boxy red and white lanyard for my mother. She gave me life and milk from her breasts, and I gave her a lanyard. She nursed me in many a sick room, lifted spoons of medicine to my lips, laid cold face cloths on my forehead, and then led me out into the airy light and taught me to walk and swim. And I, in turn, presented her with a lanyard. Here are thousands of meals, she said, and here is clothing and a good education. And here is your lanyard, I replied, which I made with a little help from a counselor. Here is a breathing body and a beating heart, strong legs, bones and teeth, and 2 clear eyes to read the world, she whispered. And here, I said, is the lanyard I made at camp. And here, I wish to say to her now, is a smaller gift. Not the worn truth that you can never repay your mother, but the rueful admission that when she took the 2-tone lanyard from my hand, I was as sure as a boy could be that this useless, worthless thing I wove out of boredom would be enough to make us even. So thanks again to Mr. Richardson for starting this off. I've known Mr. Richardson for a really long time. He's been a mentor and like an older brother to me, and he's a great friend. And you know, I've been waiting 11 years to help him realize his viral sensation, no pun intended. And so I'm really glad that, you know, he's going to take the internet by storm here. So don't forget to click like and subscribe, where I don't know how to do this either, but don't forget. And you know, it's your boy signing out. We'll see you tomorrow.